I love the fun, you know. I'm sure there's some more meaning behind that, and the only meaning I know of Elric is Elf, and I don't know if she picked it because of that, or if she just like found it, or if there's some historical figure I'm missing that I have not seen him up yet. I know it's Hohenheim, I know that one, and of course we all know Nicholas Flamel. If nothing else, most of us learned one from Harry Potter way back in the day. Yeah, so, all right, anybody else have anything?
Speaking of Nicholas Flamel, is he an actual real person?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And actually, the symbol that Ed has on the back of his jacket is his actual symbol.
Oh,
And she turns around.
I also finally got the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, see, so that is the actual symbol Nicholas Flamel used, which is why Ed has it on the back of his jacket. That is a real symbol itself. But yeah, he was a real person, and he was the one.
So where'd you get your Philosopher's Stone? eBay?
No. Green was teasing me. The person dressed up as Green was teasing me.
Yeah, he did that to me too.
He was holding it up and said, come get it, so I jumped for it. I took it.
Overcoming adversity.
But yeah, so Nicholas Flamel was real, and he is the one who is most often associated with the Philosopher's Stone, though he's technically not the one who's the biggest one.
Wait, was he the one where I remember there was some actual historical figure where there are rumors that he actually did complete a Philosopher's Stone and did achieve immortality.
I know there are some rumors about him, but there's actually somebody else who's totally overlooked in Haberkorn. I can't think of his name. Nicholas Flamel was not quite as big as the other one, but for whatever reason, his name got thrown around. I'm totally blanking on it, but yeah, nobody ever knows the other guy either.
There are actually some people think that Leonardo da Vinci goes down to the thing.
I know Leonardo da Vinci. It's not the one I'm thinking of, though. Yeah, a lot of the people back in the days that were, you know, as science
Sir Isaac Newton was a favorite.
Yeah, alchemy was pretty big, but then again, like I said, it's rudimentary chemistry. It does the same thing if you think about it. In chemistry, you take two elements and combine them to create a third one. It's alchemy.
Right down to it. All, the only difference between magic and science is as soon as it becomes proven that you can do it, it's science. Magic cannot exist for no reason besides fact. As soon as it becomes factual and so you can actually perform, it stops being magic. It's science.
Alright, so go ahead now.
One thing I always wondered, why do you think the Elric's family had Armstrong-sized armor?
It was a convenience thing. I think it was more of like a collector's thing than anything. I mean, how many of us have like little figures and stuff in our rooms, and you know, people would be like, why do you have them? It's like it's from an anime. Or we have two dragons on we have a big screen TV downstairs, and we have these. It used to be part of a cosplay, but these two giant like dragons or necks and heads hanging off our TV, like you know, you have like a deer head or something on there. We have dragons up there.
Like if I recall correctly, when they showed a picture of their basement where they performed.
Yeah, it was in there.
There was, I mean, not just that.
There was a lot.
There was probably just because, but there were other things that were in there.
Like collecting random.
For whatever reason, Hohenheim collected armor.
Yeah.
Hohenheim has to have Hobbit.
Yeah, this is all alchemy.
Sometimes you just have to
Yeah, I don't know why you get other.
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
that way.
if you think about it, it was like either that or like a stuffed teddy bear or something. No, the thing is, Al was still really adorable with his armor. He was probably the most emotional character in the whole thing, which is amazing. He didn't show. Oh yeah, my little sister loved Al. She hated him in anything but his armor.
I think it was in the anime. They did say, I'm not sure if this was true in the manga, but in the anime they did say that the reason the soul was able to be bonded to the armor in the first place is because it was metallic as well.
Yeah.
And that because the iron of the blood allowed it to merge with the iron.
I mean, but that's just, well, the thing is, she could have changed the cover. She wanted to make the story. She did actually, if you look in there in the background, there was separate suits of armor in the room. That one was the one drawn with more detail. We showed right from the beginning. It was indicated.
Yeah, like they make sure the little spot.
Be funny if those just
Bye.
Well, it's like when they show, if you see in a series, they show a library, one of the books just happens to stand out, you know that one.
unless it's a brick. Then you can
Incidentally, in any sort of animation, you also notice that a lot. Where it's
Animation
like a slightly different color. Guess what? That's going to be the one they grab. It's going to be the one they pick.
get some animation stuff. Lucy will teach you all about this.
Yeah.
You gotta catch it over there.
Presumption when I seen the suit of armor that it was part of the sword shadow, because that's what they wear with all the outfits.
I mean, it is.
I mean, because they were making model pieces.
Yeah.
Of course, and things of that nature.
That could have
It
been
could
something
be.
he could have made.
Except for the thing is, there was more than one down there.
Yeah.
Or practice.
I mean,
Maybe that's something they
Obviously, the fact that it's never been explained specifically why there was a suit of armor conveniently placed in the basement that he used shows that specifically why it was there wasn't important. It was the fact that it was there. Yeah, exactly. It would be kind of fun to find out that Monheim created his son's body.
You know what's something I don't get?
So it's like all connected.
Something that makes no sense to me was when Ed was reconstructing Al's armor and there wasn't enough of the raw materials left and he said he had to make the armor thinner in order to complete it. I want to know why he chose to thin out the armor instead of removing things like those pointless shoulder spikes or anything.
Because shoulder spikes are totally
Well, what?
inside.
So what? Al's one character is not allowed to look differently as a series?
Yeah. I think that is exactly why they did it though.
I mean, he could have technically never done a show with me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Extra surprising being like, you notice that Al's armor is
She picked big armor, so she brought it inside down.
that's why he wears the apron at all times. There's no crotch piece for that.
I'm sorry, my English sucks sometimes.
Can you talk about the stuff, Todd?
No, I have actually not tasted swim. One of my panels, I got back from Japan. I've been only back for like 4 or 5 days maybe, and we drove out to Baltimore, which is a 13-hour drive? Oh, I did not sleep at all. And I was doing an FMA panel. My little sister was translating me the whole time. One of the words I coined that time was equivalent exchange. I know that was the word. It's no longer equivalent, it's equivalent. I have coined some really weird words at FMA panels.
We had a word.
Okay, this just occurred to me. Do you guys know how long the manga Brotherhood arc takes? Because like the original series, like he has birthdays occasionally.
Oh, you mean how much time progresses?
Yeah.
We do know that he at least has, I'm trying to think, when they made him, the first time you ever really notice that they age up is when they're having a train ride with Ling, is where I first noted it. Because he made the comment that he was 16. And it was like, wait, he's still like older?
To me, was when the first time you see him without his hair braided.
Yeah, he starts looking
I mean, he looks a lot different.
But no, he does age progressively. I'm trying to think how many years passed in that, because actually at the end a lot jumps suddenly because of the way it
I think that's
after,
the point.
like, kind of after everything happens, kind of after story thing.
the little after story at the end, the guidance story was great.
Right, so
I love how everybody was like, oh my god, there's gonna be a movie, this is what the movie's gonna be about, and then we read guidance. It'd be interesting to see them try to make a movie out of that. I don't think it would work.
If we're still going to try, they're probably still going to
An
try.
OVA I can see, but I don't think it can last more than like 15 minutes with the storyline.
well, actually, lasted longer than that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the storyline wasn't so much, it was just there being like, thank you for all the years with FMA, so.
Yeah. Speaking of the OVA, for the ones that came with Color of Shambhala,
I heard they were.
He put out a DVD with like, they had like 2 of them on it and then something that was like a live action thing.
Yeah.
That special they did in Japan or something.
The thing is, yeah, the thing with the 3, what was considered the 3 OVAs, one of them came with the, 2 of them came with the movie. One was like a little extra. It was supposed to be like a cast party thing, so they were all chippy and being ridiculous, and they were acting more like their voice actors than they were the characters. It was funny though. Another one was just a little thing for the movie, which had like no dialogue at all, but it showed the equivalent of little kids being at later on you see Hughes and Roy and stuff, and Winry running around, and it was, there wasn't much dialogue, and it was just kind of showing them in modern world. It was cute though.
Well, unfortunately, there was one thing that Vic was hoping they would put on as one of the extras. How many here have actually seen Full Fantasy? The thing is they pulled that from showing it in first because they were actually hoping to try to get it permission from the Japanese to put it on.
And the Japanese would not care permission.
So basically, I have to
Some
buy a
people-
separate DVD if I want to watch it.
Well, I don't know about the third thing that was considered an OVA was not technically an OVA. They had a theme park in Japan where they had a ride where literally like you become a soldier in the military and Roy Mustang walks you through it. And that was the third thing that got labeled as an OVA for a while because when I first saw that, we didn't have subtitles, so I was translating it for my older sister. We're watching it together, and she's like, "You sound like a theme rider park." Probably because that's what this is. This is what it is. You get to become an alchemist and walk through and destroy some things, and so it was like they have this big full alchemy thing.
Yeah.
We should totally go there.
Forget Disney.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wish we had fun stuff like that in America. We never get this stuff they get in Japan.
We get Disney.
What? Well, we do have Harry Potter.
Yeah,
where
Yeah.
they don't really move at all. Do you know where the creator kind of like had their idea for connecting the nerves, like actually having a metal arm?
That's technology.
They do that.
Now.
Yeah, they actually have.
It's the future of prosthetics.
What they've used for prosthetics and has been used now has come a long way, and that's there. I'm sure there's, like, the doctors are still trying to improve even more, and what used to be just simply a wooden leg or something, now they have where the fingers actually can be moved and stuff, so, yeah, it's just a progression of where we're
The
at.
human's goal when it comes to things like that, humans in general, is perfection. So they're going and taking it from making it look like something that isn't part of you to something that looks like part of you and moves like part of you. And so it's automate, all that is basically that is the final goal that we as humans want when it comes to prosthetics and stuff. We want it to be literally not just a limb to help you along with what you're missing, but to be the limb.
So it's like a futuristic view.
Yeah, they have actually done research on stuff like that in regards to prosthetics and in regards to figuring out how to connect with the nerves and how to actually function with
I
it.
mean, that's the ultimate desire.
It's one of those cases they've had some success and they've had no. So you won't be seeing it anytime soon, but it is a goal.
That's
Probably in a lifetime.
That's actually more progressed than our technology, yet there are other technologies.
It's supposed to have kind of same,
Like, you see they'll drive old fashioned cars with computers, with the buildings floating, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know.
steam power.
Trains are still steam powered.
I think supposed to have our steam power feel to it.
I was gonna say they look like our
Yeah, like the 30s and 40s. Yeah, like really. Well, I mean, even when you think
Yeah.
I was gonna say with the Emperor Scala,
They specifically made that one have a timeline. But the big thing about the technology of Full Alchemist in general is it's not supposed to have one set time. Which is, and the thing is, if you think about it, even looking at the way Europe developed based on the way it's compared to like the way Asia developed in regards to technology, when they were separate, everything evolved separately, even if they have similar ideas to you, it evolves slightly differently. And you have the same thing with Full Alchemist, where in that particular world, for whatever reason, they spent their time focused on alchemy and prosthetics, but where they put all their technology instead of things like, cars and TVs and computers. They have radios, but
Some military.
it was military. It was definitely military based. Yeah.
There's a reason it's called Europe.
So I mean, that obviously shows you a big difference. So it's kind of like you can take even a fantasy world and like any fantasy book and look and try to compare it to our world, and then you're not going to be able to because sometimes they'll have like flying machines, but then they don't even know how to. If you put them in front of like a phone, you'd be like, what is this? Oh my God, it's going off.
It does make more sense. If you have something as fundamentally different as actual functioning alchemy, obviously technology is going to shift.
Oh, technology isn't as useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you can alchemize something, why do you have to have a factory?
The reason prosthetics are so important is they can't